All right, today we're jumping right into the heart of the Old Testament, into Leviticus Chapter 5. And we're going to explore a topic that honestly is deeply relevant to every single one of us. What do we do about the sins we commit without even realizing it?
It's one of those questions that can really get you thinking, right? What happens when we mess up, but we're not even aware that we've done it? Well, thousands of years ago, God provided a powerful and incredibly gracious answer in His law. He laid out a clear path for dealing with our hidden faults. So the first thing Leviticus 5 makes crystal clear is that before a holy God, ignorance isn't exactly an excuse. The Scripture shows us we can actually be held responsible for an offense even if we aren't immediately aware of it. Let's look at the specific examples God gives, because they're fascinating. Okay, the first case is all about social responsibility. Imagine someone is put under a public oath. They're called to testify about something they've seen or heard, and they just stay silent. They don't speak up. Well, they're held accountable. Refusing to speak the truth when you're called to is a sin, even if it's a sin of just not doing anything.
Next, the law gets into this idea of ceremonial uncleanness. So if a person unknowingly touches something considered unclean, like an animal carcass, and then it just slips their mind, they are still considered guilty once they realize it. And this wasn't just about, physical germs, it was a powerful symbol. Cleanliness represented the kind of spiritual purity and holiness that's required to be in God's presence.
Oh, and this one is so relatable. This covers making a rash promise, just speaking without thinking, whether it's a promise to do something bad or even something good. If you make a vow on impulse and then you forget about it, the moment you remember, you are considered guilty. It's such a powerful lesson on the real weight and importance of our words.
Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand what guilt means in this context. It's not just a feeling like I feel bad. It's an objective state. It's a state of liability before God. That moment of realization, when you suddenly remember, that's the trigger. That's the call to action, the point where you know restoration is needed. But here is the really beautiful part. God never ever identifies a problem without providing a solution. He doesn't just point out our hidden faults and then leave us there in despair. No. He provides a clear, accessible path back to a right relationship with Him. And the process God laid out wasn't complicated or some big mystery. It was really straightforward. First, you become aware of the sin. Second, you own it. You specifically confess what you did. Third, you bring the offering God prescribed. And finally, the priest makes atonement and you are forgiven. It's a tangible, step-by-step path to being made right again. This verse right here is the pivot point of the whole chapter. Just notice that requirement. He shall confess. Atonement isn't automatic. It's not passive. It requires personal responsibility. You have to actually acknowledge your specific failure. That act of confession is the bridge between realizing your guilt and receiving God's incredible grace.
And this is where we see the absolutely incredible heart of God shining through in this passage. His system for forgiveness was designed from the ground up to be accessible to everyone. Everyone. No matter their financial situation. Atonement was never meant to be a luxury, only for the rich.
Just look at this. It's a sliding scale of pure grace. If you could afford it, you brought a lamb or a goat. But if you were poor and couldn't possibly afford that, God made a provision. Bring 2 birds instead. And if you were so poor you couldn't even afford 2 small birds, God's mercy went even further. A small offering of fine flour would be accepted.
This is the profound truth sitting right at the heart of this entire system. Whether the offering was an expensive lamb, 2 pigeons, or just a scoop of flour, the result was exactly the same: complete atonement and total forgiveness. What this tells us, loud and clear, is that what God truly values is the repentant heart and the obedient spirit, not how much your sacrifice is worth. So, why are we digging into these ancient laws today? Because they reveal timeless, unchanging truths about the very character of God and what it means to be in a relationship with Him. These aren't just dusty historical rules. They are windows straight into His heart. This verse really brings it home, doesn't it? It underscores that crucial takeaway. God's holiness is the absolute standard. Sin, whether we're aware of it or not, is a serious offense that creates a real debt. And honestly, understanding how seriously God takes all sin helps us appreciate the unbelievable cost of His forgiveness. So when you put it all together, these powerful truths just emerge. We see that God's standard is perfect, so all sin matters. Yet, He is a God of restoration who always makes a way back. Our part in this is honest confession. And most beautifully, His grace isn't limited by our bank account or our status. It is available to absolutely all who seek it. When you step back and look at the whole picture, you see this beautiful balance. The system is strict because God is perfectly just and holy. Sin has to be dealt with. But the system is also incredibly gracious and flexible because God is profoundly merciful and loving, and He desires that no one should be cut off from His forgiveness.
And that leaves us with this final thought to just ponder. If God went to such great lengths, such incredible detail, to create a way for people to find forgiveness for sins they didn't even know they had committed, what does that reveal about the depth of His longing for a true, unbroken relationship with each and every one of us?